Howdy at the airport, going on a trot. Flight to Melbourne in an hour. So yeah, if you don't know, I am doing the Zatopek under 20 D Casella 3,000 meters. Probably basically like a rerun at nationals. So very strong. Very strong field. Yeah, really looking forward to it. Get to see my grandparents again, which is good as well. And yeah, just got to sign the bags and shit. So this will be a vlog for a few days, and yeah, get the trot going. Such a bangsty. Bang, we're back in the big, didn't stop watch. Back in the big L town, at the grandparents' establishment. Going for a trot. Super nice out here. Whatchamacallit. Shit, slow down. Yeah, it's like just nice rail trail. Bit of dirt. Real fucking good run out here. About 10 degrees cooler as well than Brizzy, so absolute trot this morning, I reckon. Geelong, G-Town's fucking put it on this morning. So warm, not rainy. Oh fuck, didn't almost die. Wow, loving it. Bagskies, the day's finally arrived. Zatopek, pending 3K, about to go for a shakeout, like right this split second. Well, I don't know how I'm feeling, but you know, if you have a look at the field, I'll put it up on the screen right now, probably covering my face, but the field is pretty cracked. I am one of the slower people in the field, probably just made the field, but you know, that also means I got the least amount of pressure on me. Some blokes run sub 8, some blokes run 8 low. You know, there's no reason why I can't be one of those runners after today. So I'm hoping it's quick, obviously. I did come all the way down from Brizzy for it. Also see the grandparents, obviously, but yeah, no pressure tonight. Just gotta go enjoy it. Sit on the train, see how we go. So we'll get the trot on now. Probably just do a 3K shakeout. Try and feel like shit. If you feel like shit in the shakeout and the warm up, then you're gonna race well. So yeah, let's trot. Ideal Zatopek preparation. This is ideal race preparation. Yeah. Free my main man, Ethan. Hashtag free Ethan. Few espresso shots. Get the ticker going. You know how it is.
On your marks. So similar to the women's event, let's see what the start's like, Mitch, and I think that's going to dictate the terms for the running of this event. And I think they've got off to a reasonable start.
Yeah, they certainly have. It's always chaotic in this De Castella 3,000 metres. To try and find a spot is near impossible. Just want to give a shout out to these boys down here with their shirts off. I'm unsure who they're supporting, but whoever it is has got to feel the love. As now we see them just about high-five us in the commentary box. They're out that wide at the moment, just trying to find that spot. It's Noakes just tucked on the back of one of our competitors there. I believe that might be Cameron Gorman, who's going to go to the front. So he's going to try and test the wheels of some of these faster athletes. And it's interesting, you've got to give it about 600 metres to really get a feel of what the tactics of the race might be. But for Gorman, he's not going to mess around, and it's Noakes right on the heels.
Certainly. So they are starting to sort themselves out, and a few starting to think, like, I don't want to lose too much contact early. Knowing how tight this bunch is, you don't want to be pushed back too early here in this 3,000 metres. 7.5 laps as they approach that first 400. Ross Pentland's got his finger on the pulse here, and we're going to get that first lap split. A 64, I believe, high 64s, and that's indicating right on that 8-minute mark.
Yeah, that's exactly where they want to be, and if they can benefit from staying in this pack for as long as possible, it'll be huge when it comes towards that kick. We mentioned we have guys who are stepping down in distance. We have some guys who are stepping up. We've got 150 and 147 800 metre runner calibre in this field. So if you leave it too late, those sort of operators will be able to steamroll over the top of it. But at the moment, there's been no change in this at all. It's metronomic at the front of it. Archie Noakes just going to tuck right behind him there. Just on the back of his shoulder is Peyton Craig, who you mentioned before the race, and sitting beautifully is Cameron Myers. So some of these heavy hitters are making sure their presence is felt without having to take that wind at the moment. And it's going to be left to the work of Cameron Gorman, I believe, to just continue to tick it off.
Yeah, Myers is in perfect position there. He's just in that spot where he can see what's going on. He made a good move at about this point on the last lap to get into that commanding position where he's just watching what's happened. Noakes obviously right on the heel there of Gorman and just doing what he needs to do as they approach the 800 metre mark. This will give us a real good indicator, Mitch, of what sort of pace they're going and then whether they're being really consistent. And that was the 66. So just dropping pace slightly to the wrong side of the 8-minute mark. So they're looking more like the 8:07, but I believe there'll be a kick down in this race.
Yeah, I think there will be. I think a lot of these guys have that potential, and obviously who you mentioned before the race was Remy Williams. He's been one of the best kickers this season and one of the biggest newcomers of the season as well. So if he can put himself in a prime position, he'll certainly make a couple of these competitors nervous. There's a little bit of tussling going on at the back of the pack, and I think maybe some of them are now starting to realise, all right, I've got to get myself up in this race and really make my presence felt, as at the moment it is still our man out in front, Cameron Gorman. Get that 1K split as well. I think it was 2:45.
2:45, okay. So that's about the 8:15 pace thereabouts. So we've got a lot of the big players are up there. Peyton Craig is in a really good position. Also Charlie Sprott, we haven't caught him yet, but he's sitting nicely on the rails at the moment, just biding his time as we see a little bit of a move down the back straight as I think they're probably getting a little bit of tailwind as they go down there, Mitch.
Yeah, they certainly are, and now they're really starting to string out at the moment, so they're going to try and go one by one. There's a couple still out on the shoulder, and there's been no change of our leader in Cameron Gorman. I did say metronomic early. I think it might be a little bit more like a yo-yo this pace at the moment, so it might just take one to really launch and get this field back towards a quick pace, but a couple of fellas would be more than happy to see it stop up, as we see that right now. So at the moment, it's a game of tactics. Nobody wants to go to the front. They're happy to run just about in lane 3 to be able to prevent themselves from doing it. It's Noakes right on the shoulder, and that's what happens. There's a fall there. We'll get a look at who the hip number is, get straight up, back up immediately, and thankfully might be able to get back on this pack if he's lucky. But that's what happens when you start to jostle and jive around, as at the front of it, it is still Gorman. Behind him there is Noakes, and the rest of the field just start to trickle up maybe just a little bit.
It's our top C. Sprott is the one who went down. As we say, as those legs start to come together, that's what can happen. They're jostling and hustling at 8:15 pace, which is still a quick pace. So they're sitting on those 66s, but I think there's a little bit of discontent as some just want to get that pace going. And as we saw, the fall happens, and Sprott was the recipient of a few legs there as he went down. So approaching now, let's get the split on the next one.
Hang in there.
And it's a 68, so it's pace still dropping. So I think we're going to see a little bit of fireworks here, Mitch.
Yeah, I think we might, Tim, as now we still see, as we said, our favourite there, Charlie Sprott, just still off the back of this pack. I think that fall might have taken a little bit out of him naturally at the moment, but this pack now, the impatience becomes infallible. It's whether or not you can hold yourself and bide your time, because these kickers are going to really start to move. We see Doug Buckeridge caught in the middle of that pack. He's somebody with an 8:11 to his name, so as the front of it starts to kick through at the moment, they make their way through the start-finish line again. It's been Noakes, who's almost put himself in the best position of the race. He stayed out of the danger, but so too behind him there, as we mentioned, was Peyton Craig, and I think Isaac might have a little bit for us down there on the track.
Yeah, this is real brave running from Gorman to take him through the K in 2:45 in windy conditions, but we do have a solid pack sitting right on his shoulder there. Noakes is looking good, just having a look around right now. Cam Myers just jostling for position a bit, but all these boys have good speed in the legs. Peyton Craig just sitting off the back of this pack is probably the most dangerous in a kick situation.
So we're back down to a 66 on that lap. No change in the leaders, still sitting around that 8:15 mark. So they're still just vying for that sort of 8:15 time, and we're going to see a big kick down here. Adam Goddard's looking good, the South Australian in Team Tempo uniform. He's sitting on the rails. Noakes has not changed positions. Myers always in command. Just a little shunt there, though, with the Queenslander. But now Noakes takes the lead.
Yeah, so Noakes has had enough now. Cameron Myers gets right on his outside, and as you mentioned, we're going to start to see them move through. Charlie Rogers still in that pack as well. Buckeridge just starting to drop off a little bit. So here we go. As you mentioned, there is a fair bit of pushing and shoving going on at the front there. It is going to be Peyton Craig, who is just letting Archie Noakes know, mate, I'm right here. In fact, I might even just one step you on my way up towards the back straight. So as we start to see this pack of 8 now form, it was a gallant effort there from Cameron Gorman.
All right, so Noakes puts the hand out on Myers. So it is, we're seeing a good run too from Gus Gannon. He's in the in-training uniform, and they're really starting to kick it down now, Mitch. So coming through, we'll get the split on this 400. So that's gone to a 65, so they're starting to get under around that 8:10 mark now.
So this is a very interesting tactic. They make their way around with 1 kilometre to go, and have a look at the changes that we're seeing towards the front of this pack. They're all going to now try and take the kick out of the legs of the boys who thought they might have it, and it's been blown wide open. There's 5 of them making their way down. It might even go to 3. Hard to shake Noakes as he now gets himself back onto this pack. It's Peyton Craig who now goes around the outside. He's been the antagonist.
So Myers leads it. You've got Carl Mulholland coming through now. He's kind of smoky. Noakes just hanging in, and Gus Gannon is the one. You've then got Peyton Craig just dropping back. And then you've got Charlie Rogers, also Goddard. But out front, Cameron Myers leads the way from Carl Mulholland.
So Cameron Myers now, he's going to start to pump the arms. Mulholland just behind him there. He's going to want to stay right on his shoulder. You don't want to give him an inch. They start to stretch away just a little bit at the moment. So Cameron Myers, he takes a look down at the track. Mulholland right on his shoulder now as we start to see them all creep in behind them there. Noakes just off the back there in 4th. It is still going to be Myers starting to lead his way through. Mulholland now starts to kick on his shoulder. It seems to be a battle of 2. They make their way into the home straight. Takes a look on the inside shoulder. It's Cameron Myers. He starts to stretch away. And Cameron Myers, there's been famous names before him, and he'll etch his names into the history book. Takes a look around the crowd, and Cameron Myers will be your champion. And what a phenomenal performance. Archie Noakes comes through there for a silver as well. And he was an antagonist throughout the race, and Cameron Myers got it his way in the end.
So some great racing, but Cameron Myers, fantastic run. Real challenge for Sprott. They came in as the race favourite, obviously had the fall, just crossing the line now in 8.27. Look, we're still seeing the sub-8.30s here, and what a race. But Cameron Myers just too strong. Archie Noakes came home strong, but probably just got dropped at the wrong time there. Mulholland came from the clouds to South Australia and didn't see that one coming at all, but Carl Mulholland has proven himself here today to be a big performer. But gee, Cameron Myers, what a race. Just over the 8-minute mark there, so they kicked down beautifully, and what a great tactical race it was out there, Mitch.
Yeah, sensational. As I said, there's plenty of pushing and shoving going on. That's just championship racing, and to be able to come out on top of that is a really good confidence boost as you start to make your way through the season. But as you mentioned, there is always a wild card in these sort of races, and that was Carl Mulholland of South Australia. A brave performance right on the shoulder there. Almost looked like he was going to have it coming into that home straight, but the class over the top in the end there from Cameron Myers. That's a great win. He puts his name now along some of the greats in Australian distance running, and that is a phenomenal end to the De Castella 3,000 metres.
He kind of lost a bit. Lap to go. So you got anything from the Strava like YouTube video, mate? Stop it. He's doing nice. That's right, boys. Only came 17th. We're all good. I was ranked 18th, so it's all good. Gus Gunner fucking ran out of his skin, though. What a good bloke. Alright. Pub tonight, possibly. Dak's got beers in the track. Yeah. He pulls the more reasonable coach out of us. Just glad Johnny's not here because Johnny would. Alright, you're on the vlog.
Hi.
What do you think of the race so far?
It's pretty good. My money's on Smack.
On Smack?
Yeah.
That's mate. Smack hasn't run well since like 2015, so it's pretty bold claim.
It's alright. Subscribe to my hansen YouTube channel.
Bang! That's what I reckon. Honestly, if I was in this race, I'd put him on bitch, to be honest.
And chuck him a follow on Strava.
What's his Strava? I'll put it right here.
Matthew Hansen.
Hey! He put my Strava.
Let's go, James.
Let's go, boys.
James.
Can I shout my Strava?
Yeah, what's your Strava?
Campbell Brooks.
Campbell Brooks. Bang, right here.
Yeah. What?
How many K weight you run?
120.
Bang. Mate, K's get the base. That's what they say. Oh, mate. Bang. Ladies.
Bang. Staying at the hotel. Some sketchy ass fucking place in St Kilda. Going for a jog tomorrow. But yeah, guess my race. I'm assuming I put like most of the race in to the video. It was pretty good. It's pretty good late now. It's like 1:30. Going for a trot at 6 o'clock with Gus before I fly out tomorrow. It was pretty alright. 2 seconds off my PB, so 8:32. It's probably just more a little bit disappointing that I didn't have like a super amazing run. But I mean, you had to roll off the punches and all that kind of jazz, and yeah, it wasn't bad. So yeah, I guess it wasn't too bad in the end. Yeah, pretty much my last track race before I head over, unless I jump in like a local meet. So yeah, well cross Charles and then we're Gornskis. But yeah, not too bad today. Probably a pass mark, nothing special, nothing too disappointing though.